Welcome, English Podcast.
From Ruby English Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English Podcast with Ruby. I'm Ruby.
And I'm Tim. It's always good to have you with us.
Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling tired lately? Like, really tired, even after sleeping all night?
Oh yeah, I've definitely been there. That kind of tired where coffee doesn't even help, and no matter how long you sleep, you still wake up feeling drained. It used to happen to me all the time. What about you? Have you ever felt that kind of exhaustion?
I have. And honestly, it took me a long time to realize that my body wasn't just tired. It was trying to tell me something, that I needed to slow down, to pay attention, maybe even to heal. And that's exactly what we want to explore today.
Yeah, today we're going to slow things down and talk about that deep kind of tiredness, not just physical, but emotional and mental too. Because sometimes the problem isn't that we need more sleep. It's that we need more space, more kindness toward ourselves.
So if you've been feeling off lately, like your energy's just not there, your motivation's gone, or you're just running on empty, this episode is for you.
And hey, we've got a free lesson link in the description if you want to review the vocabulary and key points after the episode. Just click and follow along.
Also, if this episode resonates with you, don't forget to like it, share it with a friend, leave us a comment, or hit that subscribe button. Every little bit helps us keep doing what we love.
All right, take a breath, settle in, and let's get into it.
You know, Tim, it's funny how often we say, I'm tired, like it's no big deal. But sometimes, that one little sentence is carrying so much more.
Yeah, totally. It's like when someone says, I'm tired, we usually just think, oh, they didn't sleep enough. But what if that tiredness is actually something deeper?
I've felt that. There were days when I slept 8 hours, even more, but still woke up feeling like I hadn't rested at all. That's when I started wondering, what does tired actually mean?
Exactly. And the thing is, there are different kinds of tired. I mean, sure, there's physical tiredness. That one's pretty straightforward. Like when you've had a long day, your body aches, your muscles are sore, and you just need to lie down.
Yeah. And with that kind of tired, usually a nap or a good night's sleep helps. Your body rests and you bounce back. But sometimes you rest and still feel heavy.
That's when we move into something deeper, like emotional exhaustion. I've been there. It's that feeling when you've been giving too much of yourself for too long. Maybe you're taking care of others or dealing with stress you haven't talked about, and at some point, your emotions just run dry.
Totally. It's not that your body can't move. It's that your heart can't. You feel disconnected, numb, maybe even a little empty inside.
And then there's mental fatigue. That one hits me the hardest. Like when your mind is constantly racing, thinking, planning, worrying. Even when you're sitting still, your brain's exhausted.
Yes, I remember a time when I couldn't even finish a simple to-do list because every little task felt overwhelming. It's like your brain is begging for a break, but you don't know how to give it one.
And then there's something even deeper. Spiritual fatigue. It's not about religion necessarily. It's more like losing your sense of meaning, of direction. You're doing things, going through the motions, but deep down, you're like, what's the point?
Yeah, like something inside you has gone quiet. Your light feels dim. You're not sad, exactly. You're just distant from yourself.
And when all of that is happening, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but all we say is, I'm tired, it doesn't even scratch the surface.
Right. And here's something that really stayed with me. Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith once said, fatigue is often your body's final attempt to get your attention. Isn't that powerful?
It really is. Like when we ignore the early signs, stress, overwhelm, disconnection, the body eventually says, okay, if you won't slow down, I'll make you. And that's when the fatigue shows up.
Yeah, so maybe tiredness isn't something to push through, but something to pause with, something to listen to.
Exactly. It's not the enemy, it's the message. All right, so now that we know tired can mean so many things, maybe we should talk about why it's happening in the first place.
Yeah, because most of us just push through it, thinking it'll go away on its own. But sometimes, understanding the cause is the first step toward feeling better.
Let's start with the obvious one, lack of sleep, or even more common, sleep that looks long enough but isn't actually restful.
Totally. Like when you're tossing and turning or waking up in the middle of the night with a racing mind. You technically slept, but your body and brain didn't really recharge.
Right. And then there's what we put into our bodies. A lot of processed food, skipping meals, drinking too much coffee and not enough water. All of that takes a toll.
Yeah, I remember during a super busy period, I was basically living on snacks and iced coffee and wondering why I felt so drained. I wasn't giving my body what it needed.
And speaking of draining, chronic stress is a huge one. Whether it's work, relationships, or just life in general, being constantly on wears us down.
It's like your nervous system never gets to relax. You're always bracing for something, even if nothing's happening. That kind of tension stays in the body.
Another one people don't always think about is lack of movement. We sit all day, especially with remote work. And weirdly enough, not moving can actually make you feel more tired.
Totally. Gentle movement, even a short walk or some stretching, can reset your whole system. And also, let's not forget rest. Real rest. Not scrolling on your phone kind of rest.
Yup. And here's one that gets overlooked a lot. Emotional disconnection. When you feel lonely, unseen, or like you're not really connecting with anyone, it affects your energy in a big way.
Yeah, humans need connection. And without it, we start to feel a little invisible. That quiet kind of sadness drains you, even if you don't realize it.
And then there's burnout. When you've pushed yourself for so long that you stop feeling joy or even motivation, it's like you're running on fumes, but still trying to keep going.
I've been there. When even things I used to love started to feel heavy, that's a big sign something's out of balance.
And finally, sometimes what we're feeling isn't just tiredness. It could be a mild form of depression or anxiety. It doesn't always look dramatic. It might just show up as low energy, lack of focus, or feeling off for weeks.
Yeah, and if that's you, it's okay. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It just means your body and mind are asking for care, not judgment.
Exactly. Sometimes the most healing thing we can do is to stop blaming ourselves for being tired and start listening instead.
You know, Tim, something I wish more people knew is that our bodies are always speaking to us, but we're usually too busy, too distracted, or too tired to hear it.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't realize how loud those messages are until they turn into something physical, like headaches or back pain.
Exactly. Like for me, it often starts with my shoulders. They tense up before I even notice I'm stressed. It's like my body knows before my brain does.
For me, it's brain fog. I forget little things, I can't focus, and everything feels a bit blurry. That's when I know I've been running on empty.
And then there's that classic sign, sleeping for hours, yet still waking up tired. That's your body saying, hey, sleep alone isn't fixing this.
Right. We tend to think rest is just about sleeping, but real rest goes deeper. It's about giving your body, your mind, your emotions space to breathe.
And you know what helps me a lot? Doing a quick check-in with myself every day. Just taking a minute to scan my body. Like, how's my breath? Is there tension anywhere? How am I feeling emotionally?
Yeah, like a body and soul checkup. I try to do it in the morning before I even touch my phone. Just sit there and ask, what's going on in here?
It doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes I just place my hand over my chest or stomach, close my eyes, and breathe. I ask, what am I truly needing right now? And I listen.
I love that question. Not, what do I have to do? Or, what's next on the list? But, what am I truly needing? It changes everything.
Right? And sometimes the answer is something small, a glass of water, a stretch, a 5-minute break. Other times, it's something deeper, like connection, or space, or just permission to feel tired.
Yeah, I think the real healing begins when we stop seeing tiredness as something to fight against and start treating it as a sign to pause and care.
Absolutely. Listening to your body isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's one of the most loving things you can do for yourself.
So if you're listening right now and you've been feeling tired, try asking yourself that question. What am I truly needing right now? And let your answer come gently. No judgment, no pressure.
Just kindness. That's where it starts.
So Ruby, after everything we've talked about, the kinds of tiredness, the signals from our body, I guess the big question now is, how do we actually restore our energy?
Yeah, and I want to start by saying something really important. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. This isn't about pampering yourself. It's about staying alive and staying human.
That hits. And honestly, I think many of us forget that. We treat rest like a reward. something we earn after being productive. But that mindset, it's part of the burnout.
Exactly. And the science backs this up. Like, did you know that sleep deprivation can increase your chance of making poor decisions by 20%? That's a study from Harvard.
Whoa, I believe it. I've made some real questionable choices after a night of bad sleep, and it's not just sleep. Stanford research shows that staying hydrated can improve your focus by up to 14%. That's wild, right?
Totally. Something as simple as drinking water can change your entire day. And there's more. A study from the American Journal of Epidemiology found that light movement every 30 minutes can reduce your risk of heart disease by 30%. That's not even a full workout. Just standing up, walking a bit, stretching.
See, that's what I love. Restoring your energy doesn't have to be dramatic. It can start small. Actually, I've been trying something called active rest lately. You heard of that?
Oh yes, that's one of my favorites. Active rest is when you recharge by doing something gentle and intentional, like going for a walk, practicing yoga, meditating, or writing in a journal.
I've been journaling a little, just dumping thoughts on paper at night. It helps me sleep better. I think it gives my mind permission to shut down.
Exactly. And speaking of sleep, here's a tip for anyone listening. Try cutting back on phone time before bed. The blue light from screens messes with melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. Even 30 minutes of screen-free time before bed can improve sleep quality.
Yeah, I started charging my phone in another room. Not gonna lie, the first few nights were weird, but now I fall asleep way easier.
That's a great boundary, and boundaries are another big one, like setting limits with work, with social media, even with people sometimes. Saying no, logging off, letting yourself be instead of always doing.
It's hard at first, but so freeing. And then there's this simple practice I've added to my days, doing one small thing that brings me joy just for me.
I love that. We call those joyful micro-habits, tiny moments of happiness that add up, like listening to your favorite song, lighting a candle, watering your plants, dancing in your kitchen. It's not silly, it's soul care.
It is. And sometimes, even with all these tools, we still feel low. And that's okay. That's when talking to someone, a trusted friend, a therapist, can be a lifeline.
Yeah, you don't have to carry everything alone. Talking is healing, and healing isn't linear. Some days, you'll feel strong. Other days, all you can do is breathe. Both are okay.
So if you're listening right now and you're tired, like deeply tired, maybe today's the day you pause. You ask your body, what do I need? And then you actually give yourself that thing.
Because restoring your energy isn't just about feeling better. It's about remembering that you matter. Your body matters. Your rest matters.
And you're allowed to take care of yourself, not someday, not later, but now.
You know, Tim, I think a lot of people listening to this might be feeling something deeper than just tiredness. Maybe they're carrying guilt, that inner voice saying, why am I like this? Why can't I just keep going like everyone else?
Yeah, that voice can be loud. But here's what I want to say from my own heart. You're not broken. You're human.
I remember talking to a listener once. She's a young mom, working full-time, taking care of her kids, trying to stay strong, and one day she said she just sat on the bathroom floor and cried. Not because anything happened that day, but because everything had been happening for so long, and no one had asked if she was okay.
I've been there too. Not on a bathroom floor, but sitting in my car after work, just staring at the steering wheel, too drained to even start the engine. That kind of tired. It's not laziness, it's your body whispering.
Yeah, and if your body is whispering, don't wait until it has to scream. Please don't wait for burnout to be the thing that finally gives you permission to rest.
That's why we always say, health isn't about fighting your body, it's about walking with it. Your body isn't the enemy, it's your teammate.
Yes, when you treat your body and your mind as partners, you start making choices that support both. You stop trying to push through, and you start asking, what do we need to feel safe today?
Because you can't just feed your mind with caffeine and neglect your body with junk food, and then expect to be energized, focused, or okay.
Exactly. It's all connected. When your body is exhausted, your mind slows down. When your mind is anxious, your body tenses up. one affects the other, always.
So caring for one lifts the other, and neglecting one, it drags both down. That's the truth we don't hear often enough.
And hey, it's not about achieving perfect health. That's not the goal. The goal is building an honest, kind relationship with yourself. Every glass of water, every deep breath, every small pause. It's not nothing. It's love. It's a quiet act of healing.
So if you're listening right now, we want to leave you with this. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to feel okay all the time, but you do deserve rest. You do deserve care. Not someday, but now.
And you're not alone in this. We're walking this journey too, step by step, breath by breath, with you.
Before we wrap up, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, take a moment, maybe pause and reflect, or even journal, and then come share your thoughts with us in the comments.
Here are 2 questions we'd love to ask you today.
What is one small way your body has been asking for rest, and have you been listening? 2. What does rest mean to you personally, and how could you honor it more gently in your daily life?
You don't have to write something perfect. Just share what's real. Your words might help someone else feel seen too.
And now, let's take a moment to look at some of the key vocabulary we used today. These are words and phrases that might help you express how you feel in English with more depth and clarity.
We've put together a short list with simple meanings and examples. You can just click the link in the episode description below to review it anytime. Fatigue.
Meaning extreme tiredness. For example, he felt a deep fatigue after weeks of working overtime.
Exhaustion.
Meaning the state of being completely drained of energy. For example, emotional exhaustion can be harder to notice than physical fatigue.
Burnout.
Meaning a state of emotional, physical, and mental collapse. For example, she experienced burnout after months of non-stop deadlines.
Restorative.
Meaning having the ability to heal or renew. For example, a restorative walk in nature helped clear his mind.
Mind-body connection.
Meaning the relationship between mental and physical health. For example, understanding the mind-body connection helped her manage stress better.
To recharge.
Meaning to regain energy or strength. For example, I need a weekend to recharge after this crazy week.
Listen to your body.
Meaning to pay attention to physical and emotional needs. For example, he started listening to his body and stopped ignoring his back pain.
Caffeine crash.
Meaning sudden fatigue after caffeine wears off. For example, after the caffeine crash, she felt worse than before the coffee.
To disconnect.
Meaning to step away from stress or screens. For example, sometimes we just need to disconnect and breathe.
Joyful habit.
Meaning a small action that brings daily happiness. For example, lighting a candle while journaling became her joyful habit.
Active rest.
Meaning light activities that allow the body to recover. For example, yoga is a great form of active rest.
Emotional well-being.
Meaning the state of feeling emotionally balanced. For example, he made space for emotional well-being by setting better boundaries.
Overstimulated.
Meaning mentally overwhelmed by too much sensory input. For example, scrolling late at night left her feeling overstimulated and restless.
To nourish.
Meaning to feed or support growth, physically or emotionally. For example, a good night's sleep nourishes both the body and mind.
Gentle boundary.
Meaning a kind, healthy limit you set for yourself or others. For example, she created gentle boundaries around work emails after 6 p.m.
Don't worry if you can't remember all of these right away. Healing and learning are both slow and beautiful processes.
And we're here with you on that journey. You're doing better than you think. Before we say goodbye, we just want to remind you of one simple truth.
Being tired isn't a weakness, it's a signal, a message from your body that it needs care, not criticism.
Learning to listen to that message is the first step toward healing. And healing isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just taking a breath, drinking a glass of water, or saying, I need a break.
If today's episode spoke to you, we'd really love to hear from you. What part of your body or mind is asking for kindness today? Leave us a comment and let's start a real conversation.
And if you want to review this lesson and vocabulary, check the link in the description. It's free for you.
If this episode helped you, even just a little, please consider giving it a like leaving a comment, sharing it with someone you care about, or subscribing to our podcast.
You never know. Your share might be the message someone else really needs to hear today.
Take care of yourself, not because you're broken, but because you matter.
We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, be gentle with yourself.